Soul Garden.
Namaste. Welcome to Soulmark Guided Hangouts. I'm Guardian Agent number 33, your humble agent and moderator. I'm super excited to introduce our spirit guide today. She is a psychic, intuitive, spiritual chick, advice guru, optimist, visionary, and a master Taurus. She answers your questions through intuition, guides, and angels. She is our love generator and has created a safe place for us. Please join me in welcoming ZEN Shoemaker.
Hello, everyone. It's so nice to be here with you all again. And I'm really excited about this show. It's a big topic and a topic that there's great differences of opinion on. So we're going to have some fun. We're going to learn something. Hopefully, we're going to learn something. And we're also going to have a little fun at the end of the show where you might be able to win a prize.
Ooh!
Don't get too excited about the prize, but it's fun. So let's start the show just with a little quiet. These are big weeks. So how about we just close our eyes for a minute, take a deep breath in, and release. And as you're breathing in and breathing out, you're releasing all the tensions of the week, all of the emails you didn't get answered. Take a deep breath in. None of them were too important. Hopefully nobody got any speeding tickets or anything bad like that, but just in case there's something hanging on, let's take a deep breath in and release it. Okay, let's open our eyes. And hello.
Hello.
So, yay, it's nice to see y'all.
Yes,
And
it is.
Today's topic is about, what is today's topic about? Oh, no. I just wanted to give GA33 a little heart attack. It's about boundaries. And I have maybe a different take on it, what boundaries are and what they're made up of. I actually believe that boundaries are a core block of self-love. Self-love. So let me explain that a little bit, because most people kind of look cross-eyed at me when I say that. So I wrote a blog a few months ago about this, and in the blog I used an example of if you're a child and let's say abuse happens, and it could be any form of abuse, but abuse where you need to start protecting yourself in some way, whether it just be quiet or so you hear some footsteps and you go, and then you'll be quiet, and you may be quiet as a mouse, and so you be still, and that becomes a boundary, and that boundary is used for self-preservation. And let's say it was just a scary old uncle from Toledo who was visiting your family, and after a few days you didn't need to put that boundary up or wall up. So as children who are full of self-love and they're so balanced in so many gorgeous ways, it'll disperse even after you do it 1, 2, 3, or 4 times. It'll eventually then just disperse and you go back to your self-lovingness. But let's say it's ongoing and there's real need for self-protection. So as years go on, those walls become more rigid and firm and harsh. But on the inside is self-love. But what happens after years of this, you're now an adult And you don't have to be afraid of the crazy uncle from Toledo. First of all, he's dead. And second of all, you're a big bad person, you know? You're an adult. You could handle it. But that wall is still there because nothing was done to take it down. So now that boundary keeps out things and people and intimacies that you want. So some people say boundaries are bad. Some people say boundaries are good. And Dawn mentioned before the show that it's all these different types of boundaries. And that is part of the reason for different types of boundaries in different situations. So what do you think about that? Yes, Dawn. I'm sorry. Yes, Dawn.
I do not have a standard boundary policy.
Just to be clear.
Exactly. I'm always revising it, rewriting it, managing it, and yes, different boundaries for different situations. I wish I could have just one policy. That would be very simple, but I don't know. Tell us more, Zen.
Okay, so could I ask a question?
Yeah,
what do you mean by different policies?
Oh, my immediate family boundary. Then there's a boundary with acquaintances. Then there's a boundary with people with whom I'm intimate. Oh, name the day, the week. I've got a different policy for it.
Okay, well, actually, that's brilliant. That's healthy. And you're brilliant. And let me tell you why you're so brilliant. I just watched, I think I might have quoted her last week, Brene Brown, in an interview, and she talked about people earning the right for you to be vulnerable with. And so there are certain boundaries that we keep up for society's sake that everybody doesn't get in, and it's all mishy-mashy, and you don't tell everybody your deepest, darkest secrets because that's not A, appropriate, but B, it's not information you necessarily want to share. And people have to earn the right. They're trustworthy. They earn the right to get in. But what do you do if somebody asks you to, let me think, I can give you an example out of my life. Take them to the store, but you can't because you have to go to work. You probably would say something like, oh, geez, I'm sorry, I can't. But what if you don't have that boundary and you can't think, well, I have to go to work. It's so wishy-washy that you think, okay, well, I can take them and get back, and maybe I'll only be 5 minutes late for work. So you can get into trouble if you don't maintain certain boundaries. So let me give you an example. I live in the South, and I'm not from the South originally. So I get told about that I'm not from the South originally. So you know, okay? And I really try to respect the traditions because there's beautiful traditions here also. So I had a neighbor who asked me if I could take him to the store, this exact scenario, and I said, oh, I'm sorry, I can't. I have to go meet a client. And he goes, oh, okay. So he leaves. Well, a couple days later, somebody was moving out, and he said, oh, it's such a shame she's moving out. She's nice, not like you. And I go, what do you mean, not like me? I'm really nice. And he goes, oh, no, I asked you to take me to the store, and you said no. And I said, well, but I was going to work. I couldn't. He said, you should have said, no, I can't. I really would if I could, but I can't. And I go, okay. So I asked a neighbor who's born and bred, Southerner, and I said to her, how should I have handled that? How could I have handled that in a Southern way? And she said, you should have said, well, now, I'm sorry. I just can't take you, but Lord knows I want to. And maybe I can figure out a way to do it. But I'll tell you what, when I come home from work, if you still haven't gone to the store, I'll run you up to the store and be happy to do it. And I said, but I wouldn't be happy to do it late at night. She goes, oh, but by then he would have figured out another way. And I just went, okay, I don't understand this. But this is a boundary, and this is an indirect way. And so my appearance of putting a boundary firmly was actually considered an insult.
Wow.
And so you have to also know where you are and what the culture is like for where you are when it has to do with boundaries.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Zen. I live in the South too, so I think I know that lady. She lives next door. We're going to be right back with more of Dear Zen right after this message from our angel sponsors.
Having trouble in your love life? I have the answers. It's called Secrets of Birthdays, the Love and Lust Report. The biggest problem usually is people choose the wrong person. Not anymore. Find out your birthday secrets, available online at secretsofbirthdays.com.
Welcome back to Soulmart Guided Hangouts with Zen Shoemaker. Come and be part of our studio audience by going to lovefest.tv and click on the dynamic link posted in the chat. Back to you, Zen.
Okay, so we were talking about boundaries, and I'd like to give a couple, I put it out there on the web, what do y'all think about boundaries? And these are some of the replies I got. Lance says, I have used these as a respect guide, something to notice, but not look at with much interest. Recently, I see it as I use it as a guide to seeing how we work with humans. That's interesting. Lorraine said, respect in all that we do. So that is a big part of boundaries, but it's actually self-love. You create boundaries to protect yourself, to honor yourself, and to make sure that your needs are met first. It's really important for us all to start meeting our needs first in a wholesome, integrity-filled way so that we can be more fully there for the people in our lives who we do help and who do need us. And the people, if it's your joy to be able to serve others, then you need to make sure that you are taken care of first in a full way. And that means saying no if you can't take someone to the store. And that means saying no to maybe your children's demands when you just really need to rest and you need some of your time. So it's self-love in that way. It's it can be self-protecting, but it stems, I'm really convinced that boundaries are self-love. They are necessary for the structure of intimacy within a relationship. I don't know if any of you have met somebody with mushy boundaries, and you meet them and you kind of feel like they're coming into your skin. You know, because they're like melding right into you. Yeah. Oh gosh. And you find it's very uncomfortable. You know, you find yourself backing up within the relationship. So boundaries give a good integrity to relationships. They there are times when you're closer and there are times when you're further apart, but there's always a structure, and it's almost like an architectural structure of self-love and love for your beloved that creates a beautiful foundation, kind of like the three pigs in a house out of hay or straw or mud or brick. This is out of love, and whether it be self-love or love for your beloved. And everyone who creates these beautiful boundaries within their relationship has something to build a lifetime on, in my humble opinion.
I just love it, because, you know, when somebody has boundaries, I have a tendency to love them, and I just didn't realize it's because they're loving themselves. It's brilliant.
Isn't it cool?
Yes.
It's often very hard to do, especially I think probably for the people attracted to Soul Garden and to this network, because we're doers and servers and lovers of people, and we want to help and we want to do things. So you really have to consciously take care of ourselves and beware of people who always want you to take care of them, because then they're not putting up their own boundaries, and then you need to straighten yours. Strengthen yours, I mean.
I have so much gratitude for you, Zen. If you guys would like to send Zen your question, then you can email her at dearzen@soulgarden.tv. And if you have questions in our studio audience, then you can please raise your peace symbol and Zen will answer your questions. And also, I just would like to wish everybody a happy Lightcast Day. And today is the most powerful day of the month to set your intentions for the month. So, yay! Sending love to all of you as you set your loving intentions. And since we're talking about boundaries, I think that's going to be mine.
So we've all run into people with walls, I'm sure. Yes? Does everybody have known a person with walls? Can we raise a hand if we're a person who has a wall or two? So how do we get rid of our own walls? So if and remember, they probably started a long time ago, and they started for a really good function, and they morphed over the years into this tough, strong wall. Sometimes they have barbed wire at the top, you know. Sometimes they have gun turrets so you can look through. I wouldn't be speaking to anyone who's watching this at all about this. No. But so how do we do it? How do we do it? Because we're protecting from the outside, right? So we're protecting from attack. So the secret is to work from within. So on the inside of our walls is soft, because we don't have to protect ourselves from ourselves. So what you start doing is, if you have a wall up, you start sending huge love to the wall. You thank it. You honor it. You can have a ceremony about it. You can just becomes your beloved and your passionate darling who protected you probably from a lot of crap when you were younger or in whatever situation. So this beloved wall, what happens is when love, just think of the love pouring out of you, right? Love pouring out of you on this wall. So it becomes soft. Think of memory foam. So start leaning into it, lean into this beautiful wall who did such wonderful things for you. Yeah? I mean, it was gloriously done. We're brilliant. We are brilliant. Us humans are brilliant. And this is a brilliant mechanism. Don't be mad at walls. Love them. Love them, and thank them, and tell them they can leave. So love them, thank them, honor them, lean into them. The more you lean in, think of memory foam, the softer you'll go in, the deeper you'll go in, and soon you will open it up, and then the wall will dissipate. And what's left is healthy self-respect, because you have just done an intensive job of loving yourself. Huh? Cool little after effect there, isn't it? I mean, how glorious is that? And so remember, you've got a big wall, and I believe we all do. Love it. If you come up to a person that has big walls, love them too. And you may or may not, it may or may not work. And but once you've melded your own, you'll sense them quicker in others, and then you'll be able to know quicker in a relationship whether it works for you or not. And if somebody has armor-plated titanium layered walls. You know, love them, and they can probably go on their way. You know, let them do that work. You know, you don't need to do that work for them. But yeah, it's an amazing thing, and it's a beautiful mechanism. And just remember to send love out to them.
Zen, I just so love that because I do have walls, and that is how I'm going to fix that. And I saw a movie this week called Happy, and it really touched my heart. It's about the science of happiness, essentially. And there was a homeless man on the street, and I couldn't help him. But I sat in my car, and I sent him love, and I know that he didn't know, but I know that he got love from me. And so it was just beautiful.
Yeah, that is wonderful. And that is what we're about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but we want to be, while we're loving, we also want to have fantastic lives, you know, and we are not just, some people are set up to be Mother Teresa people.
Mm-hmm.
Some people aren't, like 99% of us aren't, you know? We just want to have fun and love and do good and be and honor ourselves and love our children and love our families and love our beloveds and, you know, have great lives and be good. And so with that, the technique of loving others like you did, GA33, is just wonderful. It's exquisite use of self-love also. So it's directing it out. So right there, you didn't have a wall, did you? There was no wall there.
There was no wall there. Yes.
And whether he knew it or not, he felt it. And, you know, there's many studies, you know, we talk about prayer for illnesses and many studies that show that intended good thoughts and love and feelings really do make a difference to people.
Yes. Thank you, Zen. We have to go to a commercial break, so we'll be right back after these messages from our angel sponsors. Welcome back to Dear Zen with ZEN Shoemaker. Come to soulgarden.tv to get a free profile on the most loving space on the internet. What's in store for us next, Zen?
Well, I want to read another definition by another one of our viewers. And Mikita says, boundaries are, in my case, kind of bad. I have been trying to fake it until I make it. And I guess I haven't been doing too well because my coworkers took me aside and told me I look like crap. They don't understand why I don't go out. They don't understand why I don't have a boyfriend, etc., etc., etc. My coworkers want to help me be more social, dress better, have more fun. While I value their concerns, I've got to be a hermit for a while. So what do we do when people impose their thoughts and feelings on us? And those coworkers certainly didn't honor any boundaries, did they? Man, one of the key rules is, I believe, we really do have to respect each other, is you don't give an assessment to somebody unless they request it. And every assessment could be right or could be wrong. You know, it's so subjective. So, but what do we do when somebody, and the interesting thing is, one of the reasons I was so touched by this particular email was I had that exact same thing happen to me. They weren't my coworkers, they were friends, and they had an intervention with me. I will never forget this. And sat me down and couldn't figure out why I didn't go out as much. And why I always seemed so lackluster, and how could I ever find a man if I didn't go out? And a few years later, it was found I had disease. But we didn't know it at the time. I just was overwhelmed with tiredness, and I could barely make it through work. And so what that did for me wasn't good. It was so hurtful to me that they felt so compelled. And I know they loved me. They loved me. But they felt so compelled to help me. And now if I would have been a drug addict, that would have been okay. You know, or if I would have been alcoholic, okay, you're allowed to intervene. You know, but geez. So I handled it okay because I really did know they loved me, and I knew their intentions were honorable, but they did more harm than good. So the moral of the story is, I think, is when you are concerned about somebody else, look to yourself to see what's up about you, that you feel that you can interfere in someone else's pain. A way that I later learned would have been helpful for me is if they would have come to me and said, you know, we're concerned. You don't seem to be going out much. We're really worried about you. Do you have a plan to try to help? Are you going to a doctor? You know, how can we help support you in this? And that's what I think these co-workers should have done with this beautiful woman. Listen, she also put her astrological points in that email, which I didn't share. But she right now is hunkering down, where a lot of us are. So on this beautiful new moon, she, along with the rest of us, as GA33 spoke of, we get to set our intentions for the next 30 to 40 days. And my intention is going to be, you know, it just hit me so hard that I just might be being a little judgmental of people with strong boundaries. And I think I need to take my own advice and just love those boundaries. So my intention is this month I will love fearlessly the boundaries who come up against me. And I will reflect the love inside and outside of me towards them.
I have to give that a round of applause. I love it. Thank you, Zen. Today's show has been brought to you by Soulmart.me. Come and check out the Act 3 videos, which are available for immediate download or in MP3 format. If you have questions for Zen, then you can email her at dearzen@soulgarden.tv.
Why does every guy cheat on you? Trust me, I know. How come girls always call you their friend? I can tell you. We'll talk about your strengths and we'll talk about emotions. Secrets of Birthdays, now live for purchase. Check out yours at secretsofbirthdays.com.
Back to you, Zen.
So I'd like to read a letter that somebody asked a question a couple weeks ago, and I wasn't able to get to it up until now. So here's where I am in my life. I left a journalism career path. I didn't want to be associated with modern corporate journalism, smart person, in favor of helping friends and family when I want to, and to write fiction. So the result is I'm currently unemployed and technically homeless, which isn't all bad. I've made a determination based on an explanation of I Ching to dig the trench first, expect the flood. To that end, I eliminated 1/3 of my worldly goods when I quit journalism to help a friend with the dying of a loved one. I eliminated another 1/3 after the death of the loved one and moved to a writer's retreat. And I'm now eliminating the final 1/3 of remaining of my worldly goods. So I'm having great difficulty in eliminating those last entanglements, suffering their loss, and then picking the next one to go. Great difficulty that is being accomplished. Here's where I feel I am, creative chaos. What can you say about the process of creative chaos that may help me embrace it? Kathleen. Wow, creative chaos. So I don't believe in creative chaos. Whoa, that just slammed right into me. I think it's all intention. So I think what may appear as creative chaos is actually just the chatter, chatter, chatter of the universe distracting you from your intention. So, you know, I don't know if you meditate or not. I barely do this much. I love when I do, but there's all this chatter that interferes with that still place. And I think writers especially have that problem because there's so much coming up. So let's turn this into a boundary talk. And if going with the premise that there isn't this chaos that can affect you if your intention is pure, set your intention. That becomes the boundary. That becomes this beautiful gated, you could globe it, you can color it, it could be stained glass, it can have vines, it can be this delicious place I can think of, and beautiful tropical globe I could put all my wonderful thoughts in, and nothing's getting through that baby while I sit and I write. So why don't you maybe shift your perspective, set up a glorious, luscious boundary, and the chaos can hit on the outside of that boundary. Who cares? You're in there creating, doing what your heart desires, and that'll still leave you available to help people you love. So don't embrace it, darling. Ignore it. Create something around it, and go forth and send me what you wrote. I would love to read it.
Yay. We have time for another letter if you have another letter.
Well, I have a little bit of a surprise.
Oh, I love surprises.
Okay, so I am starting a new segment, and it's going to be entitled one man's trash. Did you get it?
Yes.
One man's trash. And what it's going to be is, I live in an area that recycles everything, and we have to take it to the recycle centers, and they have these little places. I call it the dump. You go to the dump, and they have these little places called swap shops, and things that you think are still a treasure, but you're ready to let go of, they go in the swap shop. So here's something I found at the swap shop this week. Ready?
Ready.
I covered the author's name to protect the innocent. Can you read it?
Tramp for the Lord. Hey, you know what? I have that book.
Oh, that's funny.
Here, now, this is what I think. I think the person who designed this cover didn't use their boundaries of what was appropriate in America. This wonderful woman, this is a wonderful book. This wonderful woman traveled all across the world and was a beautiful person for God. And they named her book Tramp for the Lord. It's so wrong on so many levels. Don't you think?
I concur. And when I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, they used a bad word on the book.
No.
Funny.
Okay, so that was item number 1. Are you ready for item number 2?
Yes.
What is this?
What is that?
What is it? I'm not saying nothing.
Okay, so it's a bottle of fingernail polish for your dog.
But of course.
I mean, come on.
It's funny.
Isn't this wonderful?
Did somebody actually get rid of that?
See? Got rid of this. And then my favorite, my Uncle Vito.
Oh, wow.
It's a sculpture of Uncle Vito. He's from this really cool planet, and he's got 3 arms, but that's okay because we love him anyway. And he cracks me up, and he makes noise. Can you hear it? So, you know, one man's trash is another man's treasure. And I just love this segment. So here's the contest part. Here's somebody else, a little fallen angel. She's, you know, can you see her okay? She's all bruised up. And she is a prize for whoever can bring me the greatest find from trash in next week's show. And this I will send it to you wherever in the world you are, because you deserve her to. I think she's delightful, and she will make a wonderful memory of self-love and your boundaries, yeah? So bring them in. Show me a picture. I want to see what you have for us.
I can't wait to go through the trash.
Well, you know, go to the dump or something, you know.
I love it. That was just so wonderful.
Oh
So,
my
Zen,
gosh.
we're coming up on the top of the hour, but let's talk about what it's like to have a reading with the gorgeous Zen Shoemaker.
So, well, thanks, Shug, for asking. Appreciate it, J33. There's a couple of levels of readings. One is a half-hour reading. We go to an hour also, if you are interested. So for a reading, half hour, say, you would bring me either some questions or a problem area where you might feel you need some guidance on. And through channeling, through energy, we'll probably Skype if we're not in the same city. I will tell you my hits on it, is what I call when I get a download is a hit. Tell you my hit. I can help kick you in the butt to get you on your way if you need to, or I can just be a gentle confirmation of what your heart is already telling you. That can translate further on into working into an hour session. And also, I'm going to develop a hangout on Sundays where we'll have a private class and people can come. You won't be on the air. We'll see each other. And it's going to be $25 for an hour. And we're just going to solve whatever problem you can bring, or help motivate somebody. Let's say somebody's writer's block, we'll help them. Whatever that group comes to with the theme. So I'm really excited about starting that. That'll be fun. And that'll happen probably within the next 2 weeks.
Oh, I'm so excited. I did not know about that, though, so that was a surprise.
I know, that's a surprise.
Sign me up.
Great.
I want to be there, that's for sure. Thank you, Zen. You can join Zen Shoemaker live on Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can send your letters to dearzen@soulgarden.tv. And you can book a reading with her by going to soulgarden.tv. Thank you all so much. And Zen, can you sign us off with your amazing love?
Yes, I would. Thank you for such a wonderful show. And thank you for watching. And if something happens this week, if you get a little stress, just remember, take a deep breath and count to Zen. Love you. Bye.
Soul Garden.